I don't think I see myself as a counterbalance to Edwin. I think that we will complement each other well. We both have different styles. Some of our opinions might differ on a few things, though not greatly on the whole. But I do think that we will be able to work along with each other very well in bringing the party forward.
You said that you were going to be a critical friend. What did you mean by that?
Well, I've always been of the opinion that people should be able to voice their opinions. People should be able to say how they feel and what they think on any particular issue. And I know Edwin, I've worked with Edwin for many, many years. I've known him for over 10 years. And I've always been able to do that with him. And he's always been able to listen and take on board other people's opinion. So I most definitely will be doing that role. I'll not be sitting back in any way. I will be coming forward and saying what I think on various issues.
Would you have criticised him over the way Arlene Foster was treated?
I don't think that criticism lies solely with Edwin. I think that lies with a collective of people. We know that there were 22 MLAs that were not happy with Arlene's leadership. So I think we all need to take a collective responsibility there. It doesn't just lie with Edwin, and it certainly just doesn't lie with the MLAs either.
Would you criticise? Were you sorry to see how she was treated?
I think it's unfortunate how she was treated. I think that is politics. That's what happens in politics. If it could have been done a different way, then I would have preferred it being done a different way. But we are where we are, and I certainly feel for her. And I wish her all the very best in whatever endeavours she has in her future.
It looks like he had to back down today, because we had been told, certainly the expectation was that Edwin Poots was going to announce his ministerial team today, and he's decided not to do that. Does that make him look weak?
No, and I don't think there was ever a day or a time that he had decided that he was going to announce his ministerial team. I know certainly any conversations I have had with him, he was always of the opinion that he would allow Arlene that time and in her time for whenever she decided that she wanted to step down from the role of First Minister. So I mean that the fact that today was hailed to be that day is just not the conversations I was having with him.
Do you expect Arlene to stay until the end of June?
I don't know whether she will stay until the end of June.
Would you want her to?
That's up to her, Tracy. That's very much up to her. I know, but certainly from speaking with Edwin is not forcing her out of that role.
Has he consulted with you about his new ministerial team?
He has consulted with me about the new ministerial team, yes.
So has he made his decision, or has he got an idea who he's going to ask to take the roles on?
I think he has an idea. I don't know if he's come to a final decision on any of that as yet. Those discussions are still ongoing. We know today that Joanne Bunting is our new Chief Whip, which I am delighted to say. She'll be absolutely brilliant. She worked in the Whip's office for many years and is extremely capable. So I'm delighted to see her in position. But I think those final decisions are yet to be made.
Do you expect to be a minister?
I have had those discussions with Edwin.
Would you want to be a minister?
I feel that I have invested a great deal of time and energy as chair of the Department for Communities, the Committee for Communities. I love that role. I really don't want to give that role up. But at the end of the day, if Edwin feels that he wants me to be part of the ministerial team, I'll absolutely abide by that. But I would miss greatly my role in the Department for Communities.
So you're saying that if he asks you to be a minister, you'll be a minister?
I will have that discussion with him. I'm not saying if he asks me to do it, I will do it. I'm saying that I've spoken to him about it at length, and it's something that we'll both come to a decision on together. It will not be my decision or his decision. It will be a joint decision as to what way forward I want to go.
Thursday night, very public rift in the party. Very painful night for the party. How do you heal the division?
Yeah, it was a painful evening, and it was hard to listen to some of the stuff that was being said. But I do think we can heal that, and I think that will be very much be one of my roles going forward, will be to try and bring the party together. I'm very down to earth, I'm very open. People know where they can get me, they lift the phone to me. I've spoken to various members since Thursday evening to discuss what happened and discuss, more importantly though, to discuss the way forward for the party. And I think there is a way forward. I can see it. It is perfectly doable and perfectly achievable.
And what does that look like? How do you do it?
Well, I think it's through conversation, it's through dialogue, it's through openness, it's looking at our MLAs, our MPs, our councillors and our greater party membership, more importantly, and saying, you know something, we value you, you have a role within this party, and that is something that we need to step up.
But there had never been things like that before. Senior members of the party walking out before the leader even made his acceptance speech. Could you believe it was happening?
I think I was in the room, so yeah, I could see it happening. I mean, I've been a member of this party for over 20 years. I've been a member of the party executive for probably about 18 of those years. I've seen various things happen at party executive level, yeah, it was disappointing. I was disappointed, I guess. That was my feeling from it. But it's not lost. All is not lost.
Well, the fact that the ministerial team wasn't announced today, given that Arlene Foster had said that she would resign, is that an effort to try to heal wounds?
I think so, and as I said to you earlier, Edwin was never putting her under that pressure, and I know those discussions need to take place with all members of our party, that we have the very best ministerial team that he can have around him going forward.
So let's talk about where you stand on things. Where do you stand on the Irish language? Do you believe that the DUP should allow that legislation to be brought forward before the end of the mandate?
I believe that we signed up to come back here with the New Decade New Approach agreement. I believe that all of the agreement needs to be looked at and implemented, not just one part of the agreement, but all of the agreement.
But you know, Paula, you know that if everything is to be implemented from NDNA, it wouldn't be done in the next mandate, never mind this mandate. So if the position is nothing's getting done until everything's getting done, that's an effective no.
It's not an effective no. What I'm saying is that everything needs to be on the table and everything needs to be looked at and everything needs to be agreed. And, you know, we've just come through the most horrendous of a year. We know our finances. We discussed the budget in the chamber last week and just how dire things are. And I know certainly again from my own committee level in the Department for Communities, which culture falls under as well. And I know certainly when we look even at the likes of the Sign Language Act, something that is vitally important for many people here in Northern Ireland, isn't even on the legislative time frame. So there are many other issues, our healthcare, our waiting lists,
but
all
you
of that
know
stuff.
The issue that matters to Sinn Féin is Irish language. Can Edwin Poots, can the DUP give them a commitment Irish language legislation will be done before the end of this mandate?
I think Sinn Féin though also know that health matters, that education matters, and those extortionate waiting lists matter to their people every bit as much as our people.
So that's a no.
So it's all up for discussion.
Let's talk about social issues. Where do you stand on the issue of abortion?
For me, as an MLA, I've probably found that one of the most difficult issues to deal with in my time here in the Assembly. It's one of those most emotive issues. For me, certainly as a female, I have always believed in walk a mile in someone else's shoes, and it's not that easy when someone is under pressure or whatever their circumstances might be. Now, do I agree with abortion at full term? Absolutely, I don't. Do I agree that if a baby is less than perfect that they should be aborted? No, I don't. But the issues around the fetal abnormalities and those conversations that took place a few years ago, I could absolutely see why a mum and a dad would feel that a termination was their only option.
So given that, do you believe then that the DUP should allow the paper on abortion services to go ahead? Because that is a legal right for women here in Northern Ireland and they're not availing of it.
I think we do need to discuss this. I think it needs to be brought forward. We can't run away from it. We can't shy away from it. That discussion does need to take place because there are women there that are having to travel, that are being put under an awful lot more pressure because of decisions that they've had to make, the most difficult decisions in their life. So I think that we have a responsibility to, at the very least, start talking about these issues.
How did you vote on the gay conversion therapy motion?
I abstained on the gay conversion therapy motion.
Why?
Well, first and foremost, I wasn't here that day. My father was in A&E, so I was up there in A&E, but I was abstaining on it anyway. I had taken my vote back. I had agreed with the party that I would abstain. Given the choice, which I didn't have, I would have walked down that lobby in support of the motion to ban gay conversion therapy.
And you know that was one of the reasons that triggered the move against Arlene Foster, and yet you would have done exactly the same thing, and now you're deputy leader.
Well, I just see that as one of the many issues that triggered the move. It certainly didn't trigger me in any way, but for me it was an issue that I think that we shouldn't be afraid of that legislation coming forward.
Arlene Foster talked about the DUP having misogynistic attitudes. Do you see that?
I do not see that. I have never seen that. I have been encouraged in all of my time as a female member and as a female elected representative.
So she's wrong?
I believe she's wrong. I do believe she's wrong. I haven't come across that. I certainly haven't. I mean, right from Peter Robinson when he was leader, right the way through to where we are now, I have been encouraged. I have been brought forward to do things that have been well out of my comfort zone, but because I had ability, and that is the reason why I've been put forward for so many things.
So finally, Paula, where do you see Stormont in a month's time? Will we have stable government, or could we be in an election?
I hope we have stable government. I don't think it's in anybody's interest to bring Stormont down or to go towards an election. I think we're coming out of this period of the COVID pandemic. We have an economy that needs our help. We have a health service needs our help. We have today, Peter Weir announced the piece on the underachievement. There's so much that we all need to do, and so much that affects us all. It doesn't matter what party we belong to. All of these issues are vitally important for all parties, and there's a want there to progress all of those issues for a better Northern Ireland for everyone.
Paula Bradley, thank you very much.